of the Nuremberg trials, and so far the defendants have entered their pleas of not guilty. Leading up to the trials, Treasury Secretary Henry Morgenthau submitted his plan for post-war treatment of Nazi leaders to President Roosevelt in August of last year. After the plan was approved and indictments were issued against the major war figures, the Nuremberg trials were ready to begin. Now we're going to our correspondent Robin in Nuremberg, Germany. Robin, do you have any updates?
That the indictment shall now be read. And the charter of this tribunal annexed thereto hereby accuse as guilty in the respects hereinafter set forth of crimes against peace, war crimes, and crimes against humanity.
Thanks, Diane. Though no reporters were allowed in the courtroom, I have been informed that during today's prosecution, graphic footage of the Nazi horrors were shown. Here to shed light on this new information is law student Ashna Ingenberg, who witnessed today's proceedings. Ashna, what can you reveal about today's courtroom events?
Today, the courtroom was humbled by graphic footage shot by Allied photographers in liberated areas. The emotion in the room was indescribable. Some defendants appeared shocked by what they saw. Others seemed bored. The prosecution also introduced evidence against 7 German organizations.
Can you identify those 7 organizations?
The Nazi Party leadership, the German High Command, the SS, the SA, the SD, the Reich Cabinet, the Gestapo. Colonel Tedford Taylor made a persecution case against the German High Command today. I have noticed his impressive performance that many believe will help secure his appointment as lead prosecutor in these trials.
Thank you, Ashna. It will be interesting to see how these trials turn out. Robin Roberts reported from Nuremberg, Germany. Back to you, Diane.
Each defendant became a member of the Nazi Party and of the conspiracy with knowledge of their aims and purposes, or with such knowledge became an accessory to their aims and purposes at some stage of the development of the conspiracy.
Already a lot of talk in Nuremberg, Germany. Thank you, Robin. For those just tuning in, the first day of the Nuremberg trials have ended with video footage of Nazi cruelty and strong evidence against 7 German organizations. Now we are joined by Daisy Bates, who's covering the International Military Tribunal for the Far East in Tokyo, Japan. How's the trial going over there, Daisy?
Thanks, Diane. 28 high-ranking Japanese political and military leaders, along with others, have been indicted in the Tokyo war crimes trials. As they have done in Germany, the Allies set up 3 broad categories. Class A charges alleging crimes against peace are to be brought against Japan's top leaders who planned and directed the war. Class B and C charges, which can be leveled at Japanese of any rank, cover conventional war crimes and crimes against humanity.
Daisy, can you tell us any background on the main prosecutors, and have any of the alleged war criminals been sentenced?
Supreme Commander Douglas MacArthur appointed Keenan as the chief prosecutor and Australian Sir William Webb as the tribunal's president. He also selected 11 judges from the Allied Far Eastern Commission. There has been no sentencing this first week, but we shall expect to see conclusions as more evidence is presented and examined.
In the days to come, as more progress is made in the trials. That was our correspondent, Daisy Bates, in Tokyo, Japan. Thanks, Daisy. After the break, we will continue with our coverage of the Nuremberg and Tokyo war crime trials. This is Diane Sawyer reporting from CMM San Francisco News.
Reference is hereby made to Appendix B of this indictment for a statement of the responsibility of the groups and organizations named herein as criminal groups and organizations for the offense set forth in this count 2 of the indictment.
The Tokyo war crime trials lasted for 2.5 years, 1946 to 1948.
On November 4th, 1948, all defendants were found guilty.
7 were sentenced to death, 16 to life terms, 2 for lesser terms, 2 had died during the trials, and 1 had been found insane.
On December 23, 1948, General Toho and 6 others were hung at Sugamo Prison. No photography of any kind was permitted.
The Nuremberg trials began November 20th, 1945 and lasted until October 1946.
Over 400 visitors attended the daily proceedings.
3 of the 22 defendants were acquitted. 19 were found guilty. 3 were sentenced to life in prison. 4, 2 terms of 10 to 20 years and 12 to death.
The privilege of opening the first trial in history for crimes against the peace of the world imposes a grave responsibility. The wrongs which we seek to condemn and punish have been so calculated, so malignant, and so devastating that civilization cannot tolerate their being ignored, because it cannot survive their being repeated. Robert Jackson.
1948.
My name is Bob, and I'm...
What does that mean? Is that the right? Is that how you say it?
Yeah. Okay, this is
On December.
Track it turns into gold.
Like graphic footage.